So you finished shooting your film. You have a bunch of cards you need to unload onto the computer, which contain the picture and sound elements to piece together your movie. But before we start editing the footage and mixing the sound, we need to get everything into a clear and precise folder structure, and then we need to synchronize the production audio to the shots. Welcome to episode 7 of the Indie Film Sound Guide. The Indie Film Sound Guide is brought to you by PremiumBeat.com. Exceptional production music for film and video. Editing and mixing without a proper folder structure in place can be a nightmare. Files get saved in the wrong place, shots go missing, footage can't get relinked, and it just becomes a fighting battle. It can get even worse if you're working with multiple post-production artists, all sharing the same files and praying you don't muddle everything up when you bring it all back together. To help combat missing files and dodgy folders, I'm going to show you a folder structure we like to use here at the Film Look, and also a handy application that you can download for free. Get yourself over to digitalrebellion.com and download their program called Post Haste. As I said, it's a free desktop app for managing projects. Once you've got it downloaded, you'll see this screen. They already have some templates for a range of creative workflows, but we are going to design one from scratch specifically for organising short films for use with multiple artists and hopefully prevent any unlinked and dodgy files in the future. If you want to download and customise the one we used, you can find that in the description below. To add our template to your app, simply drop it into the Post Haste Templates folder, which you can find by hitting Edit, Preferences and Template Location. Let's start off with a film's root file. This is where absolutely everything for your film will be located. In order to keep files from going missing, you must save everything used for the film inside this folder. This includes making a copy of any assets you've used from graphics and sound libraries. Keeping it all inside one folder means that you can take that folder, take it over to another computer, paste it in, open it up, and everything should already be linked and ready to go. Inside here, we have project folders where all of the project session save files will go. Inside these folders will be one for dragging old versions of save files to keep it tidy and protect your progress. Next, we have a media folder. This is where all of the video and audio files will be transferred to, as well as any photos, graphical assets, and music used in the film. Inside the video folder, we have a folder for each shooting day. Inside these will be separate folders for each card you used for that day. When you transfer your footage, copy the entire image and not just the video files. This is to ensure if anything goes wrong, you have the full image of the card if you need to transfer anything back over to the camera. Organising your files by date rather than by scene means that you can take everything you shot for that day and put it into a single folder, instead of having to map out and place everything into different folders when you rip the SD card. It also stops conflicting files of the same name. If you format a card, there's a chance it will reset the file number, and if you happen to drop a file of the same name into the folder, it will want to replace the old one with the new one, and if this happens, you've just deleted a shot. The audio folder is pretty much the same as the video folder. A folder for the shooting day, then a folder for the card image, and the whole image is transferred. When you've transferred all of the day's picture and sound elements, you should have parallel folder structures for the video and audio. Next, we have a productions document folder for scripts, storyboards, shot lists, and other documents like forms, permits, and contact information documents. The last main folder in the structure is the export folder. Inside here is a folder for the film and scenes, and another for rendering out visual effects sequences. So now we have a folder structure, let's get everything organised inside the editing program. We are using Adobe Premiere for our projects. If you are too, you can find our Premiere template inside the folder structure template linked in the description. If you're using something else, follow along and you can create and customise it to suit you and your editor. First of all, we will create a sequences bin. This is where you can save your main timeline, any duplicates if you want to save versions of the edit, and maybe even something like a selects sequence where you can pre-cut your shots. Then we have an assets bin which will hold all of the global music and graphical assets for the film. Next is the media bin. Inside the media bin we have a bin for the shooting date. Inside here will be a bin for the video and audio, and an extra bin called Synced AV, which we will come back to shortly. When you have your footage imported and inside the correct dated folders, we will start to rename the clips, synchronize the video and audio, and place them into the Synced AV bins. Go through each video clip and rename them to the mark written on the clapperboard at the start or end of the take. The audio will have an audible take with the same numbers and letters called out. Some shots may have no audio to sync. Add no audio to the beginning when renaming these files. And if you've recorded any wild takes, rename these with wild at the beginning and rename them according to the mark you can hear at the start of the take. To synchronize and merge the audio and video, there are several methods. First of all, you can throw both of the files onto the timeline, match them up manually by the spike, delete the scratch audio and link them together, but this can be very time consuming. Secondly, you can use a plugin that will automatically try to connect them together. A popular app for this is called Pluralize, and I've heard it gets good results. If for some reason you can't get access to plugins, you can use the method that I like to use. First of all, double click on the video file to bring it into the source window. By clicking the audio icon below the source window, it will display the waveform of that video file. Scrub along to the audio spike and bring the in point right up to the beginning of that spike. You can set an in point in Premiere by scrubbing to the spike and hitting I on your keyboard. Find the audio take, double click on it to bring it into the source window, and set the in point just like the video file by hitting I at the beginning of the spike. Now that we have the in points on both clips, select and highlight both of the files. With them selected, right click and go to merge clips. Set the synchronize point to in points and check the box next to remove audio from AV clip. Checking this box will get rid of the scratch audio and just use the good production audio. Then place the newly merged file into the synced AV folder. Do this with all of the takes and you will have synchronized shots ready to edit. We'd like to give a shout out to the sponsors of this week's video, PremiumBeat.com. Next time you need production music for your project, go pay them a visit. We've been using them for over 2 years now and they're a great source of high quality, royalty-free tracks. Links in the video description below. This was episode 7 of the Indie Film Sound Guide. If you want to watch the first 6, you can find the links in the description. If you're watching the series after its scheduled release, you'll find every episode linked down below. We also did an introduction video, which will give you an overview of the whole series.